Is there any, Areba, any diplomatic strategy that would, inform such an action, whether it's for Kenya-Moroccan ties, trade, or whatever, for that to be done in the manner in which it was done yesterday?
I think, first of all, let me blame Kenyans on this. We are too quick to screenshot things. That's on a light note. I mean,
it was there.
We screenshotted. I mean, even Kenyans, we are just a screenshot gang. Anything, we just screenshot. Anyway, but back to the issue, I fully agree with my brothers here that it was one of a bit unfortunate start-offs in terms of the presidency of Dr. William Ruto. In terms of that tweet, in the manner and the way it came out, it did not come out as a tweet that had been well thought through. But again, I'm glad that after a couple of minutes, after most people had taken screenshots, the correct position, which is informed by the position of our country in terms of its position in the African Union and the United Nations as also having a seat as an unpermanent member of the Security Council, was later reiterated. But going back to Twitter and diplomacy, you realize that in this time and era, we are having quite a number of decisions being communicated via social media. And this is, I mean, if you look at the times of President Trump, and this is the time when the issues of Twitter diplomacy gained a lot of momentum. And I know that going down, a number of countries have also gone down that trajectory, that sometimes decisions and quite serious issues are communicated not only through verbs, as they call them in foreign affairs, but also through social media. So I don't think that restricting the president from tweeting and from Facebooking is really a big issue. The issue is to get the right information, well thought out information, to go out to the social media handles. Remember, Ben, we are living in a time when you hear breaking news, I know even some of you in the media houses, you know the first place you get to scroll and see whether it's breaking news before even some people break it. So Twitter and social media will still maintain their place in terms of modern day communication. But when it comes from a page which is controlled probably by a head of state or a head of government, then there needs to be a clearer and a well thought and coordinated approach before something comes out of that page. Remember, when I tweet and when you tweet, it's not the same. When you tweet and when the president tweets, there is quite a difference when it comes from the president. I mean, if the president today tweets that let all bars close by 7 p.m., I don't think the bar owners will be waiting to hear from the Ministry of Interior. I know they will close immediately. So going forward, I know it was just quite a jumpy start in terms of that issue. But going forward, there needs to be a well-thought way of implementing our policies and communicating them. Remember that also, my brother here has raised the issue of how was that decision reached. Remember that the president of Sahrawi was at Kasarani and he was recognized. Then a day later, a delegation from Morocco visited the head of state. So you get to wonder really what informed such a decision being made before it was retracted. Right. I know to some extent that the president did not have such authority to make such a decision by himself. There needed to be such communication coming from the cabinet level before he could communicate it. And that is why I believe that it was retracted. But going forward, we need to be clear and we need to be careful when we do any communication from the head of state perspective.
Mark Bichachi, I know it's only day 3 out of almost 2,000 days to go in the next 5 years. Does this give a pointer to President William Ruto's foreign policy going forward?
You know, it's a good question you ask, because President William Ruto is a very interesting international diplomat. We have seen the kind of trips that he's made in the past. We've seen the kind of friends and allies that he has made. So is this a sign of things to come? I would wager not so, and I'll tell you why. Remember, this is a decision that he made at a time time where his cabinet is not in place, his foreign affairs advisors are not in place. Once they're in place, then it is expected that, number one, there'll be those traditional positions that are of strategic importance to the country that will continue. For example, our relationships with the UK, the United States, other allies in Tanzania and Uganda, in the East African community. And of course, he has already committed himself to ensure that the East African dream continues to be perpetuated. So there is certain things that we know will continue because that is the tradition and the strategic importance that Kenya holds. At the same time, he is quite the different leader from Uhuru Kenyatta. I saw an article the other day talking about Uhuru Kenyatta, the big hugger, where he used to hug everyone, and he had this warm way of receiving people with his diplomacy. William Ruto is, as I said, is a man of action. I expect that he would engage more on a platform of what can be done, how can we move things forward, how can we do trade, how can we make resources available for the people of Kenya. Now, this difference, will it be significant? I do not think so.
I mean, just a small support in terms of what you said. Remember that the president is the #1 diplomat of the country. And I don't think we'll be in a position to judge him from what happened yesterday. I know going forward, and as I am optimistic that going forward in terms of our foreign policy and in terms of our communication, things are going to be better and improve. He has already shown where and what he needs from the international partnerships. He has made himself clear that probably going forward, he is looking at positioning Kenya not as lower than other countries, but as an equal partner in terms of the foreign arena. So we can't judge him from the tweet and from what happened a few days ago. We still have 1,000 and something days to be able to see how our foreign policy envelops out.